Radio Rahim with the Juggernaut Joe Joyce. I must say, you have the best nickname in the game. You're the Juggernaut.
You know.
I must first start off by saying it's been interesting covering you as an athlete in this career because I recognize you as a British fighter. And when I began covering British boxing, like kind of full time, you were on the scene, and it was, and you were young, and American fans hadn't really been introduced to you yet, nor had I. So I had to do a little homework. And the way you've dominated early in your career, one would think, as traditional boxers go, that you began from a very small child, boxing. Your size, your acumen in the ring, your ability to dominate usually only comes from a fighter who has been pursuing the pugilist science, if you will, since a kid. But that's not true for you. How did your career as an athlete begin when you were young?
Well, that's a lot from a boxing standpoint, or from like
before boxing.
So before boxing, I started off playing rugby since the age of 6. I was also very good at swimming and martial arts. I did karate, and then I joined the swimming club. So I did swimming club. Had the rugby on a Sunday. I was also doing martial arts, doing the karate, which then turned into kung fu, which later on capoeira. I went and did Shaolin training, like kung fu with the warrior monk stuff, and then also went to America and went to Sac State. Did a little time doing the cheerleading and doing gymnastics. But after I finished all that uni and stuff, I went back to Earlsfield, where I started boxing from the age of 22.
Right, which would be a late start,
yeah,
in this business for sure. But the Shaolin Kung Fu is fascinating. How did you come to Kung Fu, and what was your experience in the Shaolin temples?
Yeah, my experience was good. It was actually a Shaolin school, so they actually are there on like a boarding school, and they train 4 times a day. Like from the age of like 4 or something till like 18, I think they either do like film, they get into like films, or they do security and police force and stuff like that, maybe army, but like through doing Shaolin Kung Fu.
So you were at a boarding school.
Yeah.
How did you end up there?
I saw like there's a martial arts event called Seni, which is normally every year in Edexcel. And I went there, and like they have like live performances, and we got talking to this guy, me and my friend, and he was telling us like, yeah, we just come back from Shaolin, like was there for a year, blah blah, and here's the details, here's the website that you can go to, and like whatever. We sorted it out, but it turns out I was the only one who ended up going in the end, and because my friend was like getting all these injuries and stuff, but I didn't want to go. I had like my last lot of my student loan money got spent on going to China, and I didn't even go to I missed my graduation ceremony, with the hat and all that, because it was the day after I left for China to go to Shaolin. So.
And so obviously, if you're willing to miss your graduation, go to China to study this, it must have really touched you.
Yeah, and it's all for the experience, and it's something I wanted to do, and I don't know, I ended up getting there, and you put your will and your mind to it, and then you get there. Like getting on the GB team, that was my goal originally. I got on there, and then obviously built my way up.
The GB team for Kung Fu?
For boxing. For boxing, yeah.
The reason I'm asking these questions is because you're such an even-tempered, kind of mild-mannered guy outside the ring. One wouldn't think that you were in combat sports just to know you.
Yeah.
And having come to it so late, you already established your demeanor and an approach to life as a young man without boxing being an element of it. So I'm curious how those experiences, first being in boarding school, you're not in the family home, you're out amongst other young men trying to figure out how to become grown men.
Yeah. I was already a man though when I went. I was probably in my 20s, 21, 22.
Wait, when you say boarding school,
yeah, but that was for the kids that trained there. But there was like obviously the adults, the foreigners. So they had like a little like kind of team of like the foreigners or whatever that were like there on like kind of holiday or for the experience. Some are there for like years, for a year or like a certain amount of months or whatever. But then you just go through the same training regime they go through, the students do, and you can learn like a bit of Mandarin as well. So you go into lessons and like learn a little bit as well. But
were there like little kids like way like better than you, like could like kick your ass?
Look, everyone could do front splits and box splits. They can do like a, when they do a bridge and then they stand up again, or like do a bridge and then go over like handstand over that way. They can all do that and do like spinning kicks, and like they learn like a form, one form a year, and then like by the time they get like to senior position, they've learned all these different forms, and then they'll kick your ass.
That's how you get the drunken style, the drunken monkey and the dragon and the. Right.
But they like pick what they want to do. Like okay, they're more suited to like monkey style, or they're more suited to dragon style. So then they specialize in what they want to do for their like exam or whatever they do.
What was your style?
My style was it's called Shaolin Red Fist, which is like the first form that they learn. Like a lot of them learn it as kids, but like because we're just like learning for the first time, that's what we learn. And Dark Tiger, I think I started to learn that as well, because like normally, because obviously the foreigners, they have a shorter window to learn stuff, so then you get like a bit of an express course lesson.
Right, you don't get a year for each style. But animal-wise, right, these styles are based on animals. Had you stuck with that, what would your Shaolin Kung Fu animal be?
I don't know, either tiger or dragon or something, I don't know, or lizard. But I don't know, I'm here with ox, so maybe like go with that, I don't know.
It's ox, there you go.
I don't know, ox style.
The ox.
Juggernaut style.
Having that kind of discipline, at least a desire for it, and then actually studying it, going to China, do you believe that any elements of that are still ingrained in you that you now transferred to your boxing pursuits?
Yeah, of course. Like all those different elements of training, that you learn things from it, and that style of training as well, with the 4 times a day, got me like in tune with how it is on GB, where it's 3 training sessions a day, and with early start you do a run, and so but then there's also I have like the stretches and mobility exercises that I can take forward from that, and what I learned in capoeira and athletics and rugby, swimming, it all kind of goes into a pot, and like mix it up, you get you can come out with something like a lovely cake or a juggernaut.
Yeah. So actually, you feel like all of those athletic pursuits that you had, maybe there's an element of each of them involved now in the way your boxing style?
Yeah, and how I approach training, how I guess also it's in the tank, it's in the bag, it's all these tools I've learned, and I guess they're transferable skills, so I could transfer all what I've learned into and put that, like guide that into boxing. And where I was doing all these different other sports, I wasn't concentrated into one sport, but when I started boxing, that was the sport where I concentrated my drive and all my energy. So then to like learn all the new techniques and have that desire to win as well, like that winning, the will to win, and like how to achieve it, because like especially with rugby, was unbeaten for like 2 years. Unbeaten, went toured around the world and stuff, still unbeaten. And then like, but we hit that age where it's like 16, where you're like, you either can continue on and pursue where you're going, or you like kind of fall into like going out and girls and etc. And so you kind of go off path. But then I obviously went through that and came back and started as a person at the age of 22 where I had goals, I have things I want to do with my life. So then it, all that energy is like put in the right direction.
Did you know when you stopped? I'm assuming it was the girls that distracted you from rugby.
For the most part, yeah.
For the most part, yeah, that makes sense.
You got to live life as well.
But when you stopped pursuing rugby and started to live life as a teen, did you think that was it for athletics for you? Did you think maybe you would pursue a different field?
Well, I did athletics. I started that when I was around 18. There's a guy, Juan, who used to work at the leisure centre where I used to go and I ended up working there, lifeguarding, swimming teaching and stuff like that. But he recognised I had the ability to do something with sport, and then he was training me and in athletics. And then when I went to university, then I carried it on from there. Went to Haringey Harriers and did some like university competitions of that. But I was aiming to go to our plan was to go to the Olympics, go to like Beijing, get to that level. But then I wasn't quite good enough, and I injured my ankle, which was set me back. So I was kind of like rehabbing that and also trying to get where I wanted to get to. But it was really tough, and like also got uni work, and I'm like it wasn't happening. But then when I started boxing with Elsfield, and I'd had my first fight, and then I just kept winning my fights, and then it's like, okay, there's the novice ABAs, won that, and then there's the main ABAs, won that, and it's like you set yourself goals, and all you have to do is keep winning your fights, and then it was just like the doors opened, and that was, that was a sport that I really enjoyed, and that I could get a career with and earn like decent money and stuff, and set myself up.
I think when I say athletics, I mean general athletics. When you speak about athletics, it sounds like you're talking about something very specific. What do you mean by athletics?
Well, I think you have to be an athlete anyway to excel in sport. But then like you have specializations in athletics. There's a lot of different disciplines in traditional athletics.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. When he was training you, like he was training you in athletics. Yeah. What does that mean?
Like running, jumping, bounding, like,
general stuff.
Yeah, to get my body, because you have to build a base.
Yeah,
and then from there, then you can start drilling like different techniques and stuff for your specific discipline in athletics.
Okay, and so while
but then when I chose that I wasn't really enjoying athletics, and then I was talking about boxing to him, he was like, "Oh, well, you need to go to Cuba and train with my brother. I mean, stay at my brother's house." So I stayed at his brother's house in Cuba, and had a Cuban coach, and then I started like learning, the sweet science a bit more. And then when I came back, won the ABAs, got in the GB team, and progressed from there, and like went to all these major tournaments and all the minor tournaments, and just winning gold medals over the years. And
what was the culture like in Cuba for a young man pursuing this kind of new sport, but still soaking up like a new part of the world?
Yeah, it was amazing experience. There's only a few people I could speak, like maybe like 3 that I could speak English well to. Mm-hmm. So everyone else is Cuban, but it's like, and like the coaches, it's like, this is the teacher of this is the teacher of the baseball, this is I was getting like introduced to people, and I brought my bike, like a mountain bike with me, so I was like I was cycling around. It was a brilliant experience. Like a lot of people, they don't like, you go into their houses, they don't have much, they might have a radio if they're lucky, or like it is hard there, but they're, the people are happy, and but they have to have their government job, and then they have their their other job that makes them money to get by.
Right. Yeah. The kind of poverty that you must have seen that you described, especially at that age, did it spur you on to be like, I need to figure out how to make some money in this life, and begin a career that is financially profitable?
Yeah, but I mean, I've not grown up with like lots of money, like, or anything. I've had it the hard way. I've had to be able to, it's such a hard like struggle you have to go through, like especially if you want to be an athlete, because you have to eat the right food, to get the right training and everything. But when it's like you're starting with like not much money, it's very difficult to to get something somewhere with sport unless you know people, or you're fat, you're well off, and it becomes easy. But I think that kind of gives you that extra drive to get to where you want to get to, because if you've started with little and you want to get to a lot, then that's that's something where you have a drive to achieve.
As a young man, how did you manage that without having a lot?
I don't know. It was tough. Like getting the work and using your hours efficiently, and I don't know. You always have it in the back of your mind. You want to be eating the right stuff and training well to reach your potential.
A place to reach your potential in boxing is certainly Cuba. That is one of the national pastimes there. They have a very slick and storied style that would be taught there culturally. What did you learn about boxing in Cuba that maybe you couldn't have gotten anywhere else?
I found that it was very similar to martial arts, how you train martial arts, because you have the form where you're practicing a certain sequence of techniques, but each of the moves, they have a practical application. And the way how it's taught in China, you learn the form first for the first year, one form, and then the second year, then you learn what the application is for it. Right. So you're like, oh, okay, I'm doing all these fancy moves, but actually it's like, eye gouge, kick them in the nuts or whatever. So you're like, oh, okay, that's what that is for. And you've been practicing it over and over again. So if you're in that scenario, you just do it automatically without even thinking. So it's about, training your muscle memory to get that. And that's the same with Cuban boxing, because they do like the school of boxing where they're just, practicing the footwork or practicing the technique. But then you could be shadow boxing against your opponent, like your partner or whatever. And then you could go through you throw a jab, left hook, something, and then they know you're going to throw that. But then you also have the counter attack. So you go, okay, block or slip, block, throw, or something like that. And you'll be practicing different scenarios with each other. So I felt that was, that's revolutionary for me, to learn that. And also the drilling certain footwork drills and movement drills that then when you're actually throwing the technique, it's actually, you've already got the muscle memory there to then actually throw it.
So they've established now your reflexes, your natural response all of a sudden has become what you need to do in that moment.
Yeah.
Because of repetition, it comes naturally. And that is part of how you can smoothly create timing and style.
Yeah.
How long did it take you to realize, with all the sports that you tried, some I'm sure successful and some not, that boxing you had a particular talent for?
I think that was with team sports like rugby, and I played a little bit of basketball and other sports, played a bit of football as well, but it's all about the team, and it's about working together as a team. You're passing within, with other players, but then on the team there's people, outstanding people at certain positions or something, and that, okay, so if I give the ball to them or whatever, they can do this, and that will work. So you can work as a team, but then you can also inspire to, sometimes people might not be playing at their best because they've had I don't know, maybe they didn't get much sleep, or they went out the night before or something. Right. You have to kind of inspire your team by playing well yourself to win. And if something happens that then maybe morale goes a bit down, you have to you have to kind of inspire your team to then pick it back up. Where in boxing, it's only you in the ring, so you got to control that more yourself. So it's all on you a bit more. But then you got your team in your corner, giving you advice, instructions and stuff, and you have to pick it up and take it on board. But then it's also all the training you've done before that, leading up to it. So if they tell you something, do this, then you're okay, I can see what you're saying, and then you can then go and do it. But then you've practiced it at the same time, loads of thousands of times.
So you prefer to have it all on your own shoulders. Do you not like that aspect of team sports where you have to depend on other people to perform at their highest level for you to win?
Yeah, I mean, I like that. I experienced that, and I took that like winning, formula, I guess, from the rugby and being successful, like winning matches, for being undefeated for over 2 years. So I've taken that into boxing, but then because I've liked martial arts, I treat boxing like a martial art, and that is like bread and butter. It's like a bread and butter fighting style, because say you're in a street fight, you're not gonna like go, oh wait, what was that move I learned in karate the other day? That sequence of moves, and you're like already getting like punched in the head like by someone. So like boxing is probably like the most bread and butter fighting style you'd want to learn, because then you can block punches and you can throw them back.
Right. I'm taking you now from Cuba. You've learned what we just discussed there. And then from there you come back to Britain?
Yeah, so I'm back in Elsfield, and this is where like the boxing club, it's got a lot of history of boxing. It's had like, Frank Bruno and other boxers come from there. And
was there a trainer there that like sparked your real desire to continue to compete?
So Sid Khan was like the head coach of Elsfield. He still is now, and he would be like, the sessions are hard. It gets your fitness to some next level, and like you're running on the street as a warm up, and then like you do your road work as well, and you do your conditioning, you do everything in one session. Your technique work, your sparring, pad work, everything in one session, and like he keeps you coming back because like you want to learn and you want to like, and you can notice your fitness like improving as well. So when you go into a fight, there's no way you're going to be tired because you've done so much training. So I thought that was that was great.
That first competitive amateur fight, like here, as part of that environment, what was that experience like?
My first amateur fight?
Yeah.
I was actually fighting a southpaw, which I didn't know till after I finished the fight, because I was just too busy throwing punches and wanting to win the fight. So I did everything like, I don't know, 150%, like just throwing punches for 3 rounds.
Wait, you were fighting a southpaw and didn't notice he was leading with his right?
I don't know. I have no experience. Like I just like, just something's a bit weird. I don't know. I'm just throwing punches and landing and winning, and then afterwards, like, oh, by the way, it was a southpaw. I was like, oh. And I think I got one of the CDs, DVDs, that you'd have to buy after the fight, and then like watching it back. I was like, oh, all right, yeah, maybe.
Okay, so you won though. That was a good experience. I'm just trying to get a sense of you as an amateur. Before the Olympics, I saw that you won many competitions, right? Many tournaments. So as you go through that process, is it always with a mind to be a pro, or when does the idea that maybe I can be a gold medal Olympian enter your mind?
Well, I've always had that from when I was trying to do that as a athlete. Like the original plan was to get to Beijing, win the gold medal and stuff. So I've always wanted to be Olympic medalist, gold medalist, preferably. So, but when I changed to a different route and got in the GB team, I was that was what I was going for. And
you always want to
but along the way, and especially since I won the ABAs, a lot of people win the ABAs, the nationals. They go and they can have a route into the professionals like that way. Mm-hmm. But I thought at that time it was too soon, and I wanted to pursue the Olympics, the Olympic dream, and like amateur boxing, because I hadn't been long in the sport. So to go pro is like, it's a lot. You need to have that experience. Like it takes 10 years or 10,000 hours to reach sporting excellence. So that's probably why a lot of people who do well are come from kids, right, like from when they're young and all the way up, because then there's so much to learn. And like from getting on GB, and then like this is when the WSB started as well. So
World Series of Boxing.
World Series of Boxing. So I was on for a little bit. I think I went to the Europeans, and I don't know. Then they had a team in Italy, and they wanted like some British guys, so I selected me and Andrew Selby to go and represent the Italia Thunder, which was sponsored by Dolce and Gabbana as well.
Oh, nice.
Which was nice. So we got like fitted out suits and like, you know, all the gear and stuff.
Did they make you Dolce & Gabbana boxing trunks?
Yeah, boxing shorts. Yeah,
you still have them?
Yeah, and the rope. Yeah, it's good.
Okay,
so, but that like introduced that was when they first started taking off the head guards. So then it was like pro style, you know, hand wraps and no head guards. So that was. So I've been fortunate to like have, you know, to have that where they transition from, you know, more the amateur style with a point scoring system with the head guards to then like the more pro style system with no head guards. But obviously from doing well in that, then that obviously boosted my level of funding as well. So then I was getting a lot more support and stuff, and also improving my boxing skills at the same time. So that really I just saw the progression just skyrocket from there. And then I got selected to do the Commonwealth Games, which I won a gold medal from. And then I was, you know, tempted to go pro again there because obviously I'm pretty senior age range in the team. So I was having to think then, but then it was only 2 years to the Olympics and I'd just won a gold medal at the Commonwealth. So I was like, I might as well stay on, go to the Olympics. And that's what I did. And ended up in Rio and came out with a silver, which may be overturned very soon.
And I wouldn't say overturned,
but I mean,
maybe elevated to its rightful position as a gold medalist.
Yeah, we'll go with that. Yeah, that sounds better.
Before we get to that moment, I want to get you into the Olympics, that 2 year span between that Commonwealth gold and then saying, all right, maybe not the pro game just yet. Olympics is in view. What's that 2 years like qualifying for the Olympics? I mean, it's not a sure thing. It's not a sure thing for anybody.
Oh, my God. Yeah, there's always like trials and tribulations and stuff that the people don't see. So Fraser Clark, I fought him to get onto the GB team. I fought him again. I fought him like 4 times, but he was hot on my tails with that time. He was like, you know, kind of rivals, because I was going to tournaments winning gold medals and then he was going to tournaments winning gold medals, so it's like who goes to the Olympics? Obviously I'm older, but he's starting to like catch up with me now, because where I was like leading ahead, obviously Joshua was already like went to London when I was getting on. He's already qualified and went to London, whatever, helped him like with sparring and stuff. But then it was my turn to be the number one, but then Fraser was like creeping up behind me, like so. And then also there's WSB and stuff as well. But the qualifiers, it was like for super heavyweight, it was like there's only one spot. It's like the winner goes through and gets qualified. For like a couple of them tournaments, it's just like the winner goes and qualified. The winner of WSB qualified, and I was close, but then I had a dodgy fight against this Russian guy in a dinner show, and that was a bit of a dodgy decision. But like, there's a lot of them over the years. But so Hergovic became number one, and he qualified for through WSB, and then I think there's the World Championships, and Yoka, you know, got through Hergovic, then got through me and won the gold there, so he qualified. And then I think it was coming up to like, so when I qualified, there was another qualifier, and I think they had to win, and I fought Medvedov.
Yeah.
No, I fought someone else before, and I was already qualified, but then like there's still the next round of the tournament, so I had to fight. It was like kind of like you can or you don't have to, but there's Medvedov, like if you want to fight him. So I was like, yeah, go on then. I fought him there and beat him as well, but I was already qualified. It's like, so it's quite hard to get up for the fight, because it's like I'm already qualified. But
well, why'd you decide to fight him if you'd already been qualified?
It's a good name, and I don't know. I wanted to fight him because I went to Europeans and he was. But I didn't get past the Russian guy who stopped me in that competition. I thought I'd fight him in the finals, but I got out of the competition, obviously. So I finally got my chance to fight him, and
And avenge that loss.
Yeah, and actually beat him.
Now, you talked earlier about a dodgy decision. During these Olympic trials, was that the first time you experienced something you felt was unjust?
No, I saw it all throughout, like from since I was in Elsfield and going to some, I don't know, tournament somewhere, or there would be some unknown club or something, and the two guys would box, and the guy from the unknown club, he didn't get the decision because the more well-known club won. And I don't know, that you see like things, you're like, he blatantly won, like, but he's been given to the other guy. So from that, like, there's so many fights I've seen where it's gone the other way because of like some kind of politics and stuff. So I've seen that from grassroots to international, and then obviously the pros as well. There can be some dodginess.
Yeah,
but that's what you get. That's what happens in boxing.
Was it the first time you'd experienced that as the fighter?
No, I experienced that before. I remember in Haringey's there was one where I got knocked down in the first round, like a flash knockdown, and then I went on to beat him the second 2 rounds, but then like the other guy got the decision. So like there's a couple of times it's happened to me, but so I don't know. I just kind of like, that's boxing. I just kind of expect it, and that's boxing, whatever.
And you were just able to readily accept that it didn't put you off the sport at all?
Yeah, but I mean, that's life. It's like things happen. They don't always go your way, so you just have to kind of accept that and move on. You got to keep, what was it the Rocky says? Got to keep pushing forward.
Yes, for 7 movies apparently. So this rivalry is happening, and it's a bit of a bottleneck for you to get into the qualifying for the Olympics, and you make it through. Once you realize, well, now the dream of being a gold medalist or an Olympian representing Britain, that has come true. You have the opportunity to actually fulfill that dream. What is that moment like? Are you able to rope your family in and the people you've come up with? Not everybody, in fact, so very few people even have the opportunity to compete in the Olympics. What was it like being a young man, but older than some of the peers on the team, realizing that dream?
Yeah, it's amazing. Like once I qualified, I was like, oh my god, it's actually happening. And and like I was just training like an animal, like all the way up till like I got on that plane to Rio de Janeiro, and then we entered this it's like this tennis club in just north of Rio, and that was kind of like we're still training and that, and then we went, and when we went into the village, that was just, oh my god, I'm here. We're riding around on Bromptons bikes that they had, and like seeing all the other athletes. It's just like a whole experience, and the opening ceremony and stuff is just like once in a lifetime. And then to come back with a medal is also not so bad.
Was it an added bit of pressure? Had you experienced, or at least internally felt, the level of pressure to succeed like you did once you became an Olympian and started to compete on a world stage?
I did feel a bit of pressure, like when they announced they did the draw. Everyone's sitting around like, who've I got? Oh, Cuban or whatever, like Russian, Ukraine or whatever. But I had my draw, and then I was waiting in my room. This is because I had my opponent and I knew who I was fighting and that, but I was just sweating because it's oh my god, it's the Olympics. Like, there's gonna be like, you're thinking of like all the cameras, the crowd, the people back home and around the world, and it's like it's a lot to like take in. Mm-hmm. I did have a moment there where I was like, but then I just thought it through, and I was over that. I was like, look, I'm just going into the ring with the same 4 corners against the opponent who's got 2 arms, 2 legs, and a head. Mm. So you just have to like kind of bring it back down to reality, and then I was all right then. and then I won my first fight, and then I was in there. I was away.
So you win your first fight. You're on a roll. Talk to me about that medal match. That was quite dodgy.
Yeah, I knew there was something going on. I had a feeling there was like a bit of a stitch up happening or something happening, because like throughout the Olympics I was in the red corner and they changed it to blue, and like I don't know, there's just some kind of feeling I felt. I was like, this is something weird's going on here. But anyway, I got warmed up as usual and walked to the arena. There's all the people there, and got in the ring, put my gum shield on, ready to box. The referee kind of checks you got your gum shield, your protector on, and that. You walk forward. I see Yoka there. I'm looking in his eyes, and then like touch gloves, and then you go back to your neutral corner, and then the bell rings, and I was like, first bell of the first rang. I'm so fit. I'm ready. I was just like going to work, putting combinations together, hitting the body, hitting the head, jabbing him. And I hit him way more times than he hit me. I mean, some of the times it was a bit silly shots. Oh, God, that jolt my head back. But it's like, I was just like, if he hit me in one shot, I was hitting with like 5 more, like to the body and head. And then after the first round, I was thinking, yeah, I don't know. It was my response from Lee Pullen, who was in the corner with me, I was like, I think they gave it to him. I was like, okay. So the second round I came out, did even more than I did in the first round. Put everything I had, like I was trying to, like hitting him in the head, body as usual, a lot more punches than he was hitting me with. Went back to the second round, sat down. Lee was like, Joe, you're 2 rounds down. I'm like, what do I have to do? And then the third one, I was just going in, I'm just going to have to try and knock him out. So I was just like, putting even more pressure on him. And bear in mind, he's got a dodgy ankle as well, so he's not really mobile as he was. And he was just like, really just holding his hands tight to his head. And I was getting through the centre, round the sides, to the body. I was hitting him everywhere. And then like the bell rings, he's like celebrating, yes! I'm like, what? Like, what's he talking about? Go back. I just kind of knew anyway. And then there's like, I got the decision. Oh, okay, he won, because I already knew he was 2 rounds up going into the last round.
Right. And
I was just like, and then they gave the result, and I was just like, it's like, what do I do? Like, it's, I gave it my all, and like, I thought I won the fight, and it's just like, the powers that be didn't want me to win that fight, so it's just out of my control. And then Yoka, there's that story which is quite nice with, Tony Yoka and his fiancée, the gold medal couple and everything like that. Hurrah for France and that. Mm-hmm. And I already knew one of the officials from that was actually friends with Yoka was French, and he's one of the lead officials of AIBA. So I kind of knew something was gonna go down like that.
And had you known that going into the fight? Were you like already suspicious? I heard about the blue and red corner bit.
Yeah.
But was there some, how athletes can have a sense that, okay, not only is something not right here, but like if the stitch up is in, sometimes there's an error about the whole competition that way.
Yeah. I sensed that before. Even before that, I was looking at this. So we got given these Olympic phones. And I checked on the website for the boxing thing, and for some reason it already had the way they thought it was going to go, like in the finals, Yoka against I think the Cuban, I think it was, and I was like, maybe it was some like mistake or something, but it was already up there, like it was already decided. So I was like, that's a bit dodgy. But then like obviously they reset the app and everything was all back to normal. So I don't know, man. Maybe it was already decided from then.
You saw a peek of the pre-existing results before the match, reset the app, and it goes back to blank?
Yeah, I'm sure. That's where I thought it was like just a glitch or an error or something. Maybe it wasn't.
Right. Yeah. I mean, clearly it wasn't.
And like you heard about all the the Russians doing that Mission Impossible, dun dun dun, and they were they got the files for the the drugs testing thing that they've managed to got this machine to take them off and like switch them or something. I wasn't there that show like there's I think it was on Netflix or something.
Oh yeah.
I still haven't
Icarus.
watched that. Icarus, yeah.
Yeah.
I have to check that out, man.
So having had that experience, did that in any way put you off the sport? Like, that's got to be disillusioning to have a moment where you could be a gold medal champion and it be stolen from you.
It's happened before throughout the year, so yeah. I mean, probably what would have been better was to do Michael Connon and stick my middle finger up from that. You get more like, probably got a better deal as a pro, like doing that. You know what I mean?
Well, once the decision is read out and you know at least at the minute you can't change it, how are you feeling? What are you thinking in that moment?
I was just kind of like shit happens. Like it's like I don't know, what am I supposed to do?
Did anybody counsel you through that, or tell you that they feel like this?
Yeah, I mean all
happening?
the coaches and the support staff, fellow boxers, and people at home, family, everything. They all thought everyone thought I got robbed. Like I even like when I came back here, like this, like, oh yeah, you should have got gold. You got robbed and that. So it's like, yeah, well, I know, but what is like? I mean, what can you do?
Well, that's a unique perspective, especially for a young man, to not allow that to create a chip on his shoulder. You were denied something that you felt you earned, and that didn't create like anger or resentment that you then carry forward. But now, the news today being that this wrong from many years ago, now you're a pro, you're pursuing a career as a heavyweight fighter, I'm sure on your way to challenging for a heavyweight title. And they reach back and say, oh, by the way, back here in this crucial moment before you became a pro, you were officially wronged. Is there any way to truly right that for you?
I mean, you can write a check as well and like send it alongside the gold medal, and like have to fish out the silver medal that I chucked in the Thames.
Oh
no, I didn't. I'm joking.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that silver medal is certainly a image of success and accomplishment, but not the goal that you set for yourself and not the gold that you deserved.
Yeah. So
is that medal, what does it mean to you when you see it?
Well, should I see it or when I see it? I mean, it's not in my hands, in my possession yet, so we'll see what happens. But I mean, when and if I finally get said gold medal, then yeah, it will just be the icing on the cake, and it'll.
Oh no! I mean the silver medal.
Yeah.
When you still have that in your home. If it's not,
yeah, I still got it.
When you see it, what kind of emotion does it inspire for you?
It's a lot. It's a lot of achievement and energy that I put into getting that, and okay, it wasn't the gold, but it's a silver. It's still like an Olympic medal. Who else has been to Olympics A and has got a medal B? Like, there's very few people. It's a small group of people, and I'm fortunate to be one of them. So it's I had pride in that. I accepted my defeat and stuff, like from way back then, and but it's nice to be finally awarded.
How did you learn that this review process was underway and there's a possibility you could be awarded the gold medal?
Yeah, I saw some article about it, them talking about it, but then nothing happened, so I thought, oh, maybe they forgot about it or something. But now it's there's another one out again, and there's more talk about there's looking into it and stuff. So yeah,
you just read it in a public article. Nobody reached out to you specifically to say, hey, this is something under review.
Well, my management mentioned it and stuff, so I kind of knew it was in the works and it's happening, and there's an article about it and what I thought about it and stuff. It obviously is great news, but I'm still not like quite solidly in my hand. So I don't know. I'll just see what happens.
Would it be significantly meaningful to you to have it solidly in your hand? If you got the call when we finish this interview, it's done.
Yeah.
What would that mean?
Oh yeah, so happy, of course, and have to update my my Wikipedia, etc. like BoxRec and that. So yeah.
All right, so you're at the time a silver medalist. You performed very well. You're right. Most people think you were robbed and they think of you as having won those Olympics, clearing out in a way. What's the decision-making process to turn pro?
It's a great career path. You can earn decent money, especially as a heavyweight. So, and my goal was like I set out with is like. So I remember when I was lifeguarding, I was like, if I'm a swimming teacher, I'll earn more but work less. I was like, let me do that. And then with boxing, it's like, okay, so I'm going to get paid to train. And I like training, so that's good, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I've done. And to be a professional boxer, yeah, I'm being paid to train and box, and like you get prizes for winning, and it's a decent career path.
Did you have to discuss it with your mom?
Yeah, obviously my mom she was not sure about it at the time early on, but same with my dad as well. But it's when I start winning my fights and not losing, and then they can see that okay, you're getting somewhere, you're getting on the Olympic team, and you're improving and stuff. So it's they're going to get behind me.
Now, how did your first professional fight compare to your first amateur fight?
Oh well, yeah, it's a lot more hype around my professional fight. It's fresh from the Olympics. I've already got a name. I've already created a name for myself with David Hay and the team. And so what was it on? I think it was on like Dave or something. And I was doing a 10-rounder for my first fight against a dangerous opponent, which is like unheard of. So it's I just came in with a statement. Like just came in and made a statement, and then like just progressed from there. Full fight, Commonwealth, which is unheard of as well. It's so yeah, I'll just start as I mean to go on, and I'm at my 13 for 12 fights in. I can't even remember now, but yeah. And then like I'm on the verge of a world title. So yeah, I've my trajectory's been like that.
Now, being put in tough early, as you said correctly, is unheard of. Because guys like to build fighters, make big knockouts, and make it look like they're invincible, and the challenges aren't there. But how much is fighting tough early in your career, do you think, important to being able to be successful once you step up in competition later in your career?
Yeah, I think it's key, and like to get that experience, because then you know when to pick it up a level because you want to win the fight. And it was good that I had that experience. Like it was like apprenticeship doing the WSB. I think that was really key for me to get to make the transition to become a pro, because I'm already fighting like top level amateurs, like international fighters. They all have different styles and stuff, and then to go pro, I've already been through the fire, and like know how to fend for myself and to win the fights. So that's how it worked for me.
Just as unique as it is to be in against quality competition in your very first fight, which is a 10-rounder, it's a bit crazy, and then Commonwealth just 4 fights down the road of your career, having a big main event, like a championship level attended and spotlight event without having a championship hanging in the balance, is also very unique, even for the heavyweight division. Mm-hmm. So when you face Dubois, that fight had the gravity of a championship fight. People were that interested in it. People gave it that kind of attention and credibility. Was that experience unique to every other time you faced an opponent in the ring?
That was an anomaly. It was a bit like Dubois was a very risky fight. He's like young, he's powerful, he's hungry, and he's been built right. So like everyone thought, like a lot of people thought I was going to lose like in the first 3 rounds. So to then like have that, you know, all that steeped against you to like rise up and beat that, to beat Dubois and beat that opponent, like I thought pretty comfortably. It's like, you know, okay, that's what all the fuss is about. And then from that, I got a lot more support and like fans, and now I'm a proper like contender and, you know, eligible for a shot at the title.
Now you say hopefully you're on the cusp of a championship title opportunity. But we know what the heavyweight division looks like as far as the belts go, and all the focus, well, at least, 4 days back, would have been, and still, Usyk now, Joshua, Fury, Wilder, and how that whole, I like to call Final Four of Undisputed, plays out. Watching the Joshua fight unfold, what's going through your mind?
I saw many ways the fight would have gone, but yeah, Usyk, just had something more. He's had a lot more experience and he's a lot more skillful, and it showed on the night. It just like it shakes things up, and it, you know, I wonder what's going to happen now with Wilder Fury. I mean Fury Wilder. So there's a lot of twists and turns right now, and it's very exciting to see what's going to happen. Like who's going to end up with all the belts.
And like you say, people expected you to lose the fight against Dubois, and clearly you didn't think that would be the case, and you weren't even anything but, I guess, proving people wrong at the minute. Joshua appeared to be deciding to box a boxer.
Yeah.
Right? It felt like maybe he made that choice because he had something to prove. When you fought Dubois, did you feel like you had something to prove?
A little bit, but then I just wanted to win the fight however I could and not get, hit by his big old punches, and make it difficult for him, because he needs to have his feet set to throw them punches, and I wasn't staying still. I was executing my game plan that Ishmael Salas had worked out for that fight, and did the work as well with Steve and Cam and Greg. So I listened to my team, and Dubois was obviously the favourite, but he came up against the Juggernaut and got unravelled in front of him.
Now, I compare that to Joshua because, especially for a British fighter, Joshua's got to be the example of what any fighter would want, but in particular, a heavyweight. And you were involved, like you said, as a sparring partner when he pursued his Olympic career. How has his rise informed the way you pursue your boxing career?
His rise was a lot different, I guess, because he was kind of like the poster boy and gold medalist, and like everything seemed to is like pretty easy for him, like the world title against Charles Martin, and everything's like progressed like really, really nicely, and he's got all the sponsors and everything like just quite easy. Whereas mine's been a little different. Like I was denied the gold medal, and but I've been lucky. I've had got landed with Ishmael Salas with when I was with David, and obviously learnt a lot from there about getting my voice out there and promoting myself and etc. Closer. I'm very close now to a world title. So, but it's been a complete different journey than what Joshua had. Now he's obviously always had a name for himself, and he's, always been the main guy. But then like, I guess you have a higher fall, don't you? Like, he lost to Ruiz, but then he came back, we'll beat him again. But now he's lost to Usyk. Is he going to come back and beat Usyk again? I don't know. Or if he loses again, then that's. But then at the same time, he's still a big name and he can still come back. And it's so exciting because there's all these different fights as well. The top fights, there's going to be how would he do against Wilder? How would Wilder do against Usyk? Like, there's all these, and then throw me into the mix as well. There's like, I don't know who's going to end up with all the marbles.
That's right. And how do you see your path to a heavyweight title opportunity? Like you said, you're so close to a title, but then when I think of, well, how
so close but so far, like, I don't know what's going to happen. I'm just gonna do what I'm doing and improve what I can and beat the people who are in front of me, and then like eventually, I'll get there.
You think there's an opportunity, like you said, to beat the people in front of you, but are there big fights that you could have in front of you without getting that title shot? How do you build that profile to make people scream, we want Joyce, we want to see the Juggernaut against these guys?
Well, yeah, just, I don't know, just keep winning my fights and looking spectacular, doing it. I mean, sooner or later he's gonna have to fight me.
What do you think of Usyk now as unified heavyweight champion? The style he brings, it's a curveball.
Mate, he smashed it. He's cleared up at cruiserweight now. He's at heavyweight. He's got like all but one belt. And he's well on his way, but he's got to beat Joshua again, which he's got a good shout to do that again. So see where it goes. See how see if Fury beats Wilder again, and then I don't know. Then we'll see what happens from there.
Most people would say maybe Joshua's mistake was not imposing his size, staying big, maybe being rough with Usyk, fighting more straightforward instead of trying to box. We all know that Wilder's looking for that big right hand to just close the show altogether. And then Fury, much like Usyk, is more agile than you would expect. It's far more of a boxing mentality coming in.
Timing and stuff.
Right. Where do you see yourself on that spectrum between these two extremes?
Well, my skills, I guess, got a bit of a chin, as like people say. My endurance, my punch output, and also my boxing skill is there as well. So, but the only thing that maybe people pick up on is my speed. Maybe it's not the fastest guy, but like in the total amount of things, also psychology and things also go into it. It's a big spectrum of attributes to be a champion, and it's not just one. It's like a combination of different ones that get you there. But all these guys have their attributes, and they're all at the top of their game. The names you just mentioned, so. It's just styles make fights at this point, and A beats B, but C beats A, and all that. So,
legacy-wise, because even though you're young in the sport, as far as how many fights you've had, we've talked quite a bit about your accomplishments in those short number of fights. But it's a young man's game, and you are still a young man. But you're at the stage where, you can't wait around for 5 years.
No
wait around for the Pacquiao Mayweather type of fight at the end of it to get your title shot. What is your goal in the sport, legacy wise? You've got less time to create that legacy. How do you do that, and what is it that motivates you to accomplish at the end of it?
I want to. Inspire people, like it's not too late, leave a legacy, because I started late in my career and I've progressed, and just to inspire the young, like the Juggernaut. Yeah, I want to be like him, and like just leave a legacy and but a positive one. And I want to get to a world title, maybe undisputed. I don't know. We'll see where we go, and but then also have have what comes with it. Financial things, so then I can look after my family and stuff, stuff like that.
Global boxing has become a smaller place. I think both sides of the pond are more aware of each other now than they were maybe even just 5 years ago.
Yeah, I think that's with the technology, like these Zooms and like the online stuff. Like people can kind of like communicate a lot easier and get information and
right. And not only are they communicating easier, but they're becoming more familiar with figures that would otherwise be regional. You being in that class at the moment, but I've heard rumor of you being involved in a boxing game that has been long awaited.
Yeah,
globally.
It's over 10 years, I think.
Yeah. What was that experience like? And believe it or not, like a lot of people will be introduced to you through the game more so than the sport when that thing hits the market.
Yeah, I can't wait. Yeah. So, but so I went to Sheffield the other week to go to the studio where they do the boxing. They got there's like hundreds of cameras around me, and they took a picture and like scanned me into the game. So that was the first step, and then this is when it was only early, but now it's got bigger and bigger. And now I went the other week to go and put the motion capture suit on, so then I can actually map my movements into the game. So that's going to have like all the old champions, all the new ones, and current ones in the game. There's just like hundreds of characters. It's like over 200 characters or something.
Really?
Yeah. So it's gonna.
And so, okay, they put the cameras around, you put on the suit, which looks like a suit of electrons or something, right?
So first I'm in shorts, and then they take a picture of like my body and like obviously my face and everything. So then I'm mapped into the system, and then from there, then like they got my character, they can like kind of like fine tune it and like, take off all the bits they don't want and like keep what works. And then, so I'm in the game. Then the motion capture, they got to capture the movement. So that you wear a suit with all the electrodes and stuff on the arms and the feet, so that when you're there, you can actually see on the screen like your little character moving around. So then you can like map your different style of punches and head movement and stuff in the game. So you're
like digital shadow boxing.
Yeah.
And seeing yourself in what would be a mirror, but a digital reflection of.
And then now they're going to take all them movements and stuff and then like incorporate it with my character. So then when you're pressing the buttons, then it then does those movements. It's just going to be, it's going to be incredible.
Who else is in the game?
Sonny Edwards. I actually fought Sonny Edwards in the game, but he beat me but this is but I didn't have my movements on it. I think that's the thing. But there's all like there's so many fighters that are in the game now.
Are you a gamer?
Yeah, I play games. Yeah.
Okay. What's the game that's got you addicted?
I've got a default game which I always go back to, which is Destiny 2. I've been playing that for like almost 10 years now. I don't know how long but every time a new game comes out or like my friends are playing a game, I jump on a bit of that, bit of Counter-Strike, bit of Call of Duty.
I'm not a gamer, but I have friends who are involved like you are and play it all the time. What does it do for you? Is it a calming thing? Is it just entertainment? Like what? Because I mean, all this like consumed with like hours of gaming. What does it do for you?
It's kind of like something, it's just, it's entertainment. It's like after I get back from a hard training session, I can put my feet up, put on a game and play this game, have fun. But then also have like a video or something on the side so I can like, catch up with things, what's going on. But I'm playing at the same time. And like, because I've been doing it all my life, it's something that I feel comfortable. And it's just like my kind of like chill down period. I like to relax. And
you have the headset on?
I've got the headset, yeah.
Are you a shit talker?
Nah. But I'm not the greatest at a game, because there's levels, because there's people that are just mad good at games.
What's the name of this boxing game? What are they going to call it?
ESBC, so esports.
Is it Fight Night? Is that
championships?
Oh.
But they're literally, but WBC are literally got a belt that's going to be awarded to the esports guys that win.
Oh wow!
Yeah, I've seen the belt. Yeah. It's like a proper WC belt.
Do you want that heavyweight title belt?
There's no chance of me winning it, man. Come on, I'm a sweaty gamer, but not that sweaty. Like.
I'm not a gamer, but this I would play.
Oh yeah, this been since like the Fight Light games. Like, was it 10 years ago? I used to play against some of the guys in uni and that. Like, to have another one, because it's been like went UFC route, and then they did the UFC thing, but now to have a proper boxing game we've been waiting a long time.
A long time. You talk about being an inspiration to the kids and the next coming generation. If you were to be sitting with the next Joe Joyce, what would you impart to him?
Just make sure you're enjoying what you're doing. Don't be afraid to travel to get like the best level training and coaching, and just to continually improve.
Is there anything that you wish you had known going into boxing that you found out a bit too late?
I think I learned quite quickly that boxing is pretty corrupt, and there's a lot of different characters, and just to be mindful and get a good team, create a good team around you.
Well, yeah, both of those things are true. And as corrupt as it can be at times, it does have quite a few gentlemen in it, way more than people would think in a combat sport such as ours. And you're certainly one of them. You're always affable and keen. I'm honored that you took the time out in your private time. We're not building a fight or anything. You're just sitting with me, which is kind of you. And I really appreciate the conversation. I expect you will get that title shot sometime soon. I certainly hope you do. And good luck with that pursuit, because we need more guys like Joe Joyce, the Juggernaut, at the top of the sport, competing with this kind of attitude and this kind of example. So thank you for the time.
Yeah.
Today's been a great conversation for me. And I look forward to seeing what you do in the sport going forward. Radio Rahim with the Juggernaut Joe Joyce.